Hey guys, TG here, and today I'm bringing you a very scuffed tier list of every single monster in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. I recently, quote-unquote, beat the game, having slain both Fatalis and AT Velkhana and crafted pretty much all the gear. I just this morning got the last ticket I needed for AT Velkhana, and I'm missing 2 Evil Eyes to get the Alpha chest piece from Fatalis, and I'm done. That's basically the game. That's everything I need gear-wise in the game. So I figured I would give my thoughts on every single monster in the game and see how many people I can piss off in the process, because I know there's a few fan favorites in here I'm not going to be very kind to. One thing I will know is I primarily use bow. Some monsters I do regularly hunt with bow guns, mostly light bow gun, but everything was slain with a bow at some point, and it is what I use for the majority of the game. So don't be surprised if you see a couple high-range flying monsters, because you don't have to deal with being unable to hit them. So let's start with the very first large monster probably a lot of people who played World ever fought. Great Jagras. Great first monster. It's got an interesting gimmick in being able to eat small monsters, mostly the Aptonath and Pestodon. Yeah. Around the map, which gives him a big old belly, gives him some extra attacks. If you manage to hit him in the gut enough, he vomits up the bits, and you get a huge knockdown. It's also used in the... Yeah, it's Hunter Rank 50 quest, the Greatest Jagras, which... I think it's just straight up an off-tempered Great Jagras. I might be mistaken on that, but it's a big boy who vomits up decorations. Great decoration farm in base game, especially if you don't like dealing with Lavasia. So I will put him just solidly in C tier, because he's a great first monster, I will admit that, but not the biggest fan of his gear, both in design and skills and all that. And Rise has been out for a while now. I think Griyazuchi is fucking amazing. If it wasn't for Griyazuchi, easily B. But knowing that there's actually really, like, fucking insanely good first monsters out there, sorry, Jaggers, it's just kind of baseline. With that in mind, Kuliaku. I'll put him here for now. Kuliaku is an interesting monster. He's basically there to teach you about hit zones. Mostly, don't hit the giant fuck-off rock he carries. Once you figure out how to knock it out of his hands, he's kind of a joke, but it's a fun gimmick. His gear looks really good. It has decent skills on it, especially the gloves for some of the fights later in the game. I'll put him lower B tier. I do like him, but as an early monster, he's a little bit simple, a little bit basic. So can't do much better than that. Pookie, I'll put high B. I really like Pookie. I enjoy the fight. I fucking love how his gear looks, especially in Master Rank. I think his Master Rank armor, fucking amazing. 10 out of 10. The only thing really holding him back is just armor skills and the fact that there's just a lot of other really good monsters in the game. He's definitely up there. I really like Pookie. I have no issues with fighting him. But end of the day, once again, early game monster. Nothing super over the top special. Fuck Farah. That's all I'm gonna say on it. To actually elaborate though, I've never liked Barroth, even as a gunner. Not a big fan. If you ever fight him in the arena, he doesn't get his mud back, so half his gimmick's gone. I believe he also has a pretty hard time getting it back in the guiding lanes. I think there's like one zone, and by the time you get to fighting him in guiding lands, you're gonna body him. You're gonna have end game gear. This is an early game monster. You're gonna fucking body him. So also have your first couple fights. His central gimmick, which is his mud armor, and the mud he leaves on the ground, just doesn't exist. And even then, like, even with tenderizing, his head is very fucking hard. It's very easy to hit, deceptively easy to hit. And I believe his gunner, his only weak spot is his arms, which he's a brute wyvern. They're tiny as fuck. He's just an annoying monster. Just don't like him. So yeah, just very, very solidly D. Rathian is up next because you can technically fight Rathian before you even encounter Barrow. You encounter her on well, I forget, like the Graves type of quest, I believe is what it's called, is the escort quest. You have to repel a Rathian, but if you want, you can go hunt her fully. There's literally nothing stopping you other than I believe she can run away after a short time. But you can hunt Rathian really early. Problem is, Rathian is interesting to put it lightly. If you get good AI and it uses its full moveset, it's basically just better Pookie Pookie. Just straight up. It's a really good fight. I really enjoy it. If you get really shitty AI and she thinks she's a Tigrex, borderline F tier. Absolutely fucking hate fighting her. Best I can do is middle of C in that case. Also, not a big fan of her gear, how it looks. So, yeah, just C tier. She can be B, I will say. She can be B, but she can also be D. Very, very, very dependent on her AI. Gyarados just fucking sucks. It's basically just Barroth, but shittier. Just straight up a shittier Barroth. Just, there's so much. You always have to fight it in the water, which is very annoying as it limits your mobility. It uses way more mud. Its hit zones are a bit shittier. You don't bounce nearly as much as Barroth as a melee, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly from when I first played, but Gyarados is just annoying. And by the time you get past the point of it being annoying, it's a complete fucking pushover that you bully. There's just no point in the game. It's fun. Its only redeeming quality is, I believe, in base world, it's got a very good spread bow gun. But aside from that, just it's shit. It's shit. It's one of the worst monsters in the game. Gears meh. Yeah. Opposite end of the spectrum, Tobi Kadachi. I fucking love Tobi Kadachi. I fucking love Tobi Kadachi. Great monster, love the design, absolutely fucking love the armor, like the bow, don't know why, I just really like the bow. His master rank upgrade gives him an extra charge level, which actually makes him kind of threatening. It sucks that Rise kind of butchered him, because I fucking love World Tobi. Genuinely one of my favorite monsters in the game. Arguably an S tier fight. The only reason I'm not putting him up there is, once again, early game monster. He doesn't really have a whole lot going for him. Anjanath. Oh, this one I debate internally a lot. He's a big wall for a lot of players. He's honestly, the first couple times, a genuine pain in the ass to fight. But if you can get past him, outside of a couple flying monsters, you're basically set for the game. He is like the test, and if you know the game. The only real problem is just the skills on his gear aren't great. His gear, especially Master Rank, very good aesthetics. The weapons are pretty solid. I'll put him very high B, mostly just because he's a good fight. I will straight up admit, he's a good fight, arguably even a great. I just don't particularly care for him. I don't hate him, I will say that. I'll put him high B, but he could be higher. I will fully agree, and you can totally argue with me. He deserves to be an A. But as I said, I just can't find myself really caring about him enough to put him any higher than B. Zitsuyaku. His gimmick is he's just a walking flashbang. He can be very annoying until you figure out how to flank him, at which point he's just an easier Kuliaku. I will say though, there's a really neat gimmick that I personally have never seen myself, but I have heard of and seen in videos where if you get him in his den, fighting him, he can actually bounce off of the crystals in his den, his flashbang, and it can mess with you hard. The problem is it's limited to one zone in the entire game, and he's the only monster that will ever go there. And most people are probably at this point able to trap, so they'll just trap him. So if he could bounce it off more stuff, I honestly think he would be more up here. He would be annoying as hell. But his gimmick is just so easy to get around. I would honestly put him C if it wasn't for the fact that it affects other monsters, and it has helped me a lot fighting like Legiana. But aside from that, he's just okay. He's just kind of okay. He's just pretty much just crappy or cool. Paloma was an annoying little piece of shit. Love the Gears design, especially for Palicos. Not so much a fan of its Master Rank armor, but really the big thing about Plumo is it's one of the few monsters in the game with the wind pressure on it. And wind's just really fucking annoying. I think he and Kushala are the only monsters that have windproof on their armor. And I don't even think you really need very much to get around Palumo. And if you do run full windproof, congratulations, you nullify over half its moves. You can basically ignore half its attacks. Turns into a punching bag really easily. I will say it can actually mess you up in Master Rank if you're not careful. His butt slam combo, if you're not ready for it, will chunk you. But he's just more annoying than anything, really. Greg Gyros, I feel like, gets fucking shafted. I'm not leaving him here. I think he deserves to be B. I'll put him up here. I love Great Gyros. I think his mastering gear looks fucking gorgeous. I goddamn love the aesthetic of it. His sack that he gives you is also used for some of the best Palico weapons in the game, in my opinion. The only issue is by the time you find him, he's basically just a slightly tankier Jagras with paralysis. I will say that the Gyros fight a lot better as a group than the Jagras ever did. But by the time you really get to the point of fighting him, he's kind of, in my opinion, a bit undertuned. Otherwise, he would be honestly high A up here with Toby. You know what? I'll put him low A as compromise. I like Great Gyros. He just gets bodied by the time you find him. Rodabon. Rodabon's an interesting monster. I first fought him with Insect Glaive on the game's PC release. I hated this motherfucker. Coming back though as a bow main, understanding how the fight works, he's enjoyable. He's fun. I don't think his fight's the best out there. I think his gear is carrying his rating here hard, and the fact that he teaches you that, hey, you can mess with monsters if you do certain things, like you can interrupt his roll with enough damage. You can mine off his back when he gets knocked on his side. Bunch of cool interactions. One of the few monsters with a bunch of interactions like that, but once you figure out the fight, he's an honest-to-God pushover, and as a Blade Master, you just bounce until you get through that armor. Definitely an annoying monster, but once you figure out how he works, he's not that bad. I do, once again, like the aesthetic of his gear. I think he has one of the best-looking Palico armors in the game. I believe he has the best sleep weapon until, like, very late-game Iceborne, too. I might be mistaken on that. So, decent monster, great gear, meh fight. This is definitely going to be a controversial one. I like Legiana. I think Legiana with a bow is a great fight. Very fun monster to fight. You have to watch out for its range attacks because Ice Blade fucks with your stamina generation. Bow kind of needs stamina. Great monster to learn dash dancing on and how to deal with shitty stamina generation if things go really south. Gear looks good. It's a shame that its stats suck. Although I will say, If you don't have a Bow Charge Plus gem, congratulations. Bow Charge Plus is its armor. Its armor has shit stats. Get used to it, bow mains. You're stuck like this until like endgame Iceborne. Yeah, I say all that crappy stuff, but I honestly like Legiana. It's just a very fun fight for me. I don't have a whole lot of negative to say other than Ice Blight. I fucking adore Artigaran. I think it's one of the best monsters in the game. Just flat out one of my favorite monsters to fight between World and Rise. I'm actually like genuinely upset he was not in Rise in some way, shape, or form, especially Sunbreak. Fucking amazing monster. Probably the most aggressive monster in the game outside of his is it subspecies? Ebony. I know it's Ebony out again. I don't know if he's a subspecies, a variant, or whatever, but Base World, probably the fastest monster in the entire game. Arguably the most aggressive. I fucking love his armor. It's aesthetically amazing, especially the beta set in Master Rank. Ooh. That is such a good armor set. Holy shit, it's criminal how good it looks. Not even that, his stats on his gear, the skills, very fucking good. The weapons I haven't played around with a whole lot. I believe for Blade Master, most of them are at least viable. Just an all-around great fucking monster. I have zero fucking complaints other than why the hell was he not in Rise? One or two vertical attacks? Perfect fit. Why was he not in Rise? What the fuck? I really hope he's in Wilds. I really, truly hope he's in Wilds. I fucking love this motherfucker. Probably one of my favorite monsters in the entire franchise. I'm not even joking. Goddamn love him. Rathalos? Overrated, but still fun fight. Especially in the ancient forest when you get him to blow open the dam. Oh, it's so satisfying to watch the motherfucker get dunked like that. It's so fucking good. His armor is also very good in high rank for elemental builds. Very fucking good. Combine it with Azure Rathalos. Whoo, boy, that's some good stuff. That's some really good stuff. Only real complaint is its fight is just kind of there. Kind of basic. I would argue maybe low A tier if it wasn't for Azure and Silver also being in this game. Don't hate him. I will straight up say I do not hate Rathalos. I do think he's overrated, but I don't hate him. But I also think that base Rathalos is also just the worst Rathalos in the game. Just straight up. Diablos can eat a fucking dick. You're going to see a very clear pattern emerge here very soon. I don't like monsters that rely on charge attacks. I don't like charge attacks, especially the Wrath charge attacks that have like 0 startup frames. Diablos' entire moveset is basically like dig and charge. And yes, you can interrupt the dig with Screamer Pods, but they're annoying to get. And if you're using a really slow sheathing weapon, you're usually just better off Superman diving. Annoying ass monster. I do not like the aesthetic of the game. One of the few armor sets I actually genuinely dislike the look of. I will say though, one saving grace is I believe base world before title updates he has some of the best raw weapons in the game. I know his weapons weirdly have hidden element ice on them, but I really am not a fan of hidden element, so I really don't have anything too nice to say, other than I do not hate fighting him. I know I'm putting him really low on here. I do not hate fighting Diablos. I do not enjoy the fight. I do not like his gear, but if you force me to fight Diablos, I wouldn't complain very much. I just do not fucking like him at all. Which, no, it sounds weird, but it's just how my brain works. I don't think I need to explain why Sword of Madros is probably the worst fight in the game. I really don't. But in case you need a refresher, every encounter with it is a glorified siege fight. You shoot him with cannons until the game tells you to get on his back. You destroy like 4 cores that just occasionally shoot magma, and you can optionally fight a Nergigante. Cool. He fucking blows. The only saving grace he has is Artillery Secret and Master Rank. Which, fun fact, if you use Sticky Bowgun and Master Rank, you're stuck with like, I think it's like 2-piece Zor Madros, 4-piece Nargacuga or something like that. Until from like end game to like Fatalis. He's at least not in Master, and you get his materials through Guiding Lands, but that's honestly funner than fighting him. It's not a fun fight. If you know what you're doing, you spend more time with your thumb up your ass than actually fighting him. He fucking sucks as a fight. If they ever bring him back, I would not be surprised to see just a completely full overhaul. Apologies about that, dog, for making sure this was as scuffed as they could possibly make it. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Shit talking Zor Magros being dog shit. Yeah. If they ever bring Zor Magros back, which I do not think they ever will, I fully expect the fight to be completely overhauled. Just straight up. There's nothing good about this fight. There's very little good about the monster. The armor aesthetic, it's solid. It's not the greatest, but it's definitely not bad. But there's just nothing good about Zor Magros. It's shit. It's shit. Kieran. Kieran's here because technically it is a low rank fight. You can fight it at the tail end of low rank if you do a bunch of optional objectives. So, Kieran, here you go. You're the end of low rank, buddy. Where to put Kieran? Kieran's weird. I think Kieran is overhated. I can't for it. I feel like people don't like fighting it. I'm personally neutral on fighting it. I will admit, Tempered Kieran hits like a fucking freight train. I am not going to deny that. It can hit extremely hard. Its body, the aura mechanic or whatever on it, it shares it with Kushala and Teostra, where its body just becomes immune to shot damage. Very fucking annoying. Very fucking annoying. It's better about it hitbox wise than especially Teostra and a little bit Kushala. But do I prefer over Jagras? No. Kieran's hard to rank. Because, like, when it's not kicking your ass, it's a decent fight. But when it's not kicking your ass, you're kicking its ass. There's very little in between. Someone's getting their ass kicked. No matter what, someone gets their ass kicked. It's just a question of, is it you? Or is it the wannabe Goku unicorn? If you use Sticky, it also is just trivial. I know Sticky trivializes a lot of monsters, but Kieran just cannot fight Sticky. Kieran and Kushala share that. So, you can at least cheese the monster if you really find it annoying. But I'm not going to count it against it because Sticky just fucking bodies most things outside of Fatalis. I'll put it lower end of C just because I know what it is truly capable of, and I just personally don't use the gear. I don't mind the aesthetic of it. I know a lot of people fucking adore it, which Google Kieran armor, you'll fucking see why people like it. It's not fucking rocket science why people like it. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Not my favorite fight. I don't hate it. I think it's overhated or underrated, whatever you want to say, but Kieran's just Kieran. Pink Rathian is just Rathian with altered hit zones, a barely noticeable palette swap depending on the lighting, and slightly fancy tail flip attack. Cool. I will say I prefer it over normal Rathian, but they're honestly interchangeable most of the time for me. Dodogama can be a dick. I know he's mean to hell, and everyone's like, oh, you got him like SSS plus tier. Have you ever actually fought a Dodogama? they're not that bad in theory. In practice, these motherfuckers have some of the jankiest hitboxes I have ever seen. His projectiles are just weird as fuck. The blast radius on them is goddamn gigantic. Holy shit. I've only ever really fought him in arena and once or twice out in the wild just to see what the hell the fight was all about. Never again. If they altered the hitbox on his projectiles to be closer to the animation, I think it would be fine. Issue is, they kinda don't. And outside of the projectiles, he's just a really crappy hit zone version of Jaggers, basically. I feel like that's mean, putting him in D. He's not that dog shit. But Dodogama does start with D, so let's piss off the entire Monster Hunter community. No, never mind. I just saw who the hell is next. I do not like Aragon. This is another case of Diablos where I've gotten to the point I don't mind fighting him. I just don't enjoy the fight. I don't enjoy the monster. I do not like the gear at all. I just don't really have a whole lot of nice to say about him. He's basically just a sturdier Rodobon that just changed the repairable armor for slightly better hit zones and more health. That's it. I just don't like him. I think he's a bit overrated. I know a lot of people like him. I'm not one of them. I don't like Aragon. I can't ever point my finger on exactly why. I just don't fucking like him. Nah, Zarmagros actually doesn't even have a fight technically. Lavasioth is ass. I don't think anyone is going to argue with me with this. Lavasioth sucks. The armor mechanic on it, cool in concept. Not very cool in practice. It's just not a fun fight. The only saving grace is the name's Lavasioth's quest, which is like the greatest Jagger's quest. He spits a bunch more, and the spit is decoration. He did give me my first ever natural bow charge plus decoration on my second character, which, when you consider my first character, took 150 hours, and them updating the Elder Melder to let you meld Mighty Bow to even get it. Which means, yes, I beat half. I literally got through Sappy Jibo on Bow on my first character without Bow Charge Plus. Would not recommend. The fact that Lavasioth is the best way to get Bow Charge Plus until Master Rank, and I think like Endgame Master Rank specifically, dog shit. Fucking ass. More points against him. Lavasioth's fight sucks. Gear sucks. Everything about him sucks. Why the fuck is this the one monster from Frontier that we ever got to fucking see until Experience in Sunbreak? Why? Like, why? That's like the shittiest thing you could have brought over from that game. What the fuck? Please don't ever bring him back. Or if you do, give him the Geratotus rework. Geratotus in Rise is a decent fight. Lavasioth has potential. They even show it with Beatotus, which we'll get to in a little bit, but Lavasioth just fucking sucks ass. I know I said I think Rathalos is overrated. I think Azor Rathalos is underrated. I get most of the hate comes from Gunners, and I will fully admit you are in the right for it. This motherfucker does not goddamn land, and when he does, he instantly combos an attack into flying. But as a bow player, I like this fight. I had to farm like 20 of these things to get the armor that I used in high rank. Not to the point I could reliably sever their tail with a bow, which is a pain in the ass. I actually like Azor Rathalos. I like the fight. I think the gear looks slightly better than normal Rathalos. I know it's the same model, but color-wise, I just think it's slightly better. Just, in my opinion, if you're gonna Azor Rathalos, it's just better than Rathalos in every single way. Basil Goose. If this was my first time playing, fuck Basil Goose, worst monster in the game. Nowadays, I really never fought Basil. I'll be completely honest. Yeah. I will say though, I don't mind him. I think the only thing is if you're not careful about the skills, they will fuck you up. And he's honestly a giant pincushion for gunners. Like I think damn near every part of his body, especially now that we have Clutch Claw, is weak to shot. So he can fucking melt if you want him to. He's cool. I like his theme though. His gear, not my style, but I believe the skills on it are pretty good. I could be getting that mixed up with Rise though, because I know he had really good armor in Rise. Don't have a whole lot of bad to say. I also don't have a whole lot of good to say. Solid monster. I don't mind to bring him back. I wouldn't mind to bring him back more, but I also wouldn't be upset if he missed wilds. Black Diablos can burn in hell. I hate this. It's a faster, more aggressive Diablos, and I just found out that in Master Rank, the bitch has Bloodbath Diablos moves, which is fucking terrifying. I've never even fought Bloodbath Diablos. That bitch is terrifying. I do not like Black Diablos. I don't mind Diablos. You tell me to go hunt Black Diablos? No. No. Just fucking no. I do not like Black Diablos at all. I fucking despise it so goddamn hard. I'm gonna upset a shitload of people here. I do not like Nergigante at all. I flat out do not. You know what? I do not like Nergigante. Period. His big dive bomb is bullshit. It's just straight fucking bullshit. If you do not gut your damage at the point where you fight him to get quick sheath 3, slow sheath weapons just have to face tank it. And if you're a gunner, congratulations, that's usually a one shot or a damn near one shot. I just do not like Nergigante at all. I like his design, I like the design of his gear, but I just do not like fighting him at all. Kushala fucking sucks as well. I'm just gonna straight up say it. She sucks. She's like the only monster in the game where if I see her, it's sticky on sight. I refuse to fight Kushala on fair ground. Super annoying monster. The only way to mitigate her wind is with her armor, which isn't even that good outside of like hyper tank builds. Wind aura around her makes her very hard to fucking shoot as a gunner. I just do not like Kushala. They gave it such a glow up in Rise. It's fucking insane. And looking back at the world version, holy fuck, this fight sucks ass. I have genuinely nothing nice I can say about Kushala Daora. Teostra, if it wasn't for his fire aura blocking projectiles, honestly, I think he would be up here, top of B. I like Teostra. I like fighting him. I love the design. I don't like the armor, but that's because his armor is a lot more Blade Master focused rather than Gunner. But here's the issue. I fought a large crown Teostra once in high rank, and the fire aura blocked the entire back half of his head. If I was not at like a 50-60 degree angle in front of him, his body, his entire body was effectively immune to shot. I'll put him here because at normal size, he's a fun fight. Top of B, arguably bottom of A. But when you get the big one, their fire aura just does not scale properly, and they are dog shit to fight as gunners. Val's okay. I like his design. I like his armor. He's using a lot of really good talisman. But if you run Miasma resist or whatever that skill is, you nullify half the fight. He can definitely hit decently hard, and he's a decent fight all around, but it's so easy to just nullify his entire central gimmick. I don't hate him, but he's just a pushover, honestly. Compared to Teostra and Kushala, yeah, if it wasn't for these two, I do think he would probably be lower, but yeah. Xenojiva. Okay. I don't like the Xenojiva fight. I really, truly don't. I'll put it up here. I'll put it at the very bottom of C. I don't think Xenojiva is a bad fight. I think the problem is it's just a little bit too big. It's a big ass monster. That's its gimmick. It's a big ass monster. Cool. Also, actually, now that I remember, they fly. One of the few monsters is actually annoying. I think when he flies, he's actually out of range of bow. One of the few flying monsters that's actually kind of crappy as a gunner. The gear looks fucking insane. I will say that. Very good gear aesthetically. I believe the skills on it were also pretty solid, but I just really am not the biggest fan of Xenojiva, honestly. Well, we're into title updates now, and we start with Devil Joe. I will say, at launch, I think I like Devil Joe more than any of the other invaders, but over time, it's honestly fallen off. I'm not a big fan of Devil Joe. I'm just not the biggest fan of Devil Joe. He's kind of just annoying. I really do like the gimmick of him picking up monsters. I've seen him absolutely destroy an Otogaron before. It was horrifying. But the issue is, he's just kind of annoying. I like his gear. He's just an annoying fight. You also you can counter him so fucking early in high rank. I honest to God think you can find Devil Joe before you can find Basil Goose. I get you can find them stupid early in old gen games, but god damn. If you don't know what you're walking into when you encounter one, it's basically like finding Anjanath. You're hitting a goddamn brick wall at like 100 miles an hour. He will absolutely annihilate you. Kove Terroth. If we are going based off of gear itself, F tier. The RNG in this armor is not the armor, the weapons is ass. It's so fucking ass. But looking at it as a fight itself, high rank siege, mid C. But the actual master rank fight, I'll put it low A. I genuinely do not mind Covetero. I really like the gear. I like the weapons. I mean, it's all gold. It's just a giant. It's literally called the Mother Goddess of Gold. I really enjoy the fight. The mastering fight, once you figure it out, actually kind of fun. I actually don't mind farming it, especially in groups. Solo, no. This bitch is a pain in the ass solo, but in a group, honestly, good monster, good fight. Tuning the RNG on her gear, make it more like Sappy Jiva. Bring her back. Genuinely, bring her back. Please. I really do not like Lunastra. I'm going to be completely honest here. I fucking despise Lunastra. It's probably my least favorite monster in the entire franchise. It's a fair, like, I will straight up say, if you're not fighting her alongside Teostra, she's a fine fight. The entire goddamn issue comes to how much fucking wind pressure she has. I swear to God, she has more wind pressure than Kushala, whose entire gimmick is fucking wind. But Blue Flames also act as walls for projectiles. So if she gets a bunch in a small room and you're a gunner, congratulations, you're not allowed to play the game. Her Nova is a fucking nightmare to get out of, especially without Clutch Claw. Dog shit monster. There's nothing good to say about her. Wait, no. There is one good thing to say about her. She has like 3 or 4 different versions of her weapon. You know what? I'll move her up to D tier because I forgot about her weapons. There's like 3 or 4 different versions using different monster parts that all have slightly tweaked stats and inbuilt skills. I think that's cool. I like that. I like that they're gonna kind of be doing at least the built-in skills for weapons in wilds. I think using different monster parts to slightly tweak the stats of the gear is a really cool concept. I kind of want them to do that more. But take away that gimmick from her weapons, abysmal fight. Absolutely fucking abysmal. Behemoth. Oh boy. I'm going to say this right now. I am a Final Fantasy XIV player. I think I have over 7,500 hours in Final Fantasy XIV. I've been playing it for like, oh god damn, when did I start? Like 6, 7 years at this point. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV. I will straight up say if you haven't played 14, Behemoths don't really play a big part in it. I think the only mandatory Behemoth fight is in like one of the raids. And it's a really simple fight. It's a very simple fight compared to World. I believe it's based off of an old base game or Realm Reborn open world fight that I've never had the opportunity to do. That said, Behemoth was rough at release. I fought him with Insect Glaive when he first came to PC. Holy shit, that fight was rough. I recently went back through with a friend of a friend with a sticky bow gun and we bodied him. So I'm not going to count that fight specifically just because, I mean, I bullied him with a sticky bow gun. There wasn't a fucking fight. That said, I do actually kind of like Behemoth. I like the idea behind it, with it actually kind of being a Monster Hunter style MMO raid. I think it was a neat concept. I think the execution wasn't quite the best. And his Cherubius, I believe is how you pronounce it, it's very fucking annoying. If it keeps targeting someone, especially if they're like a melee, especially melee. The person I was playing was with Sword and Shield. They literally swapped off of Sword and Shield because 9 times out of 10 they got the tornado, and they just spent more time running than fighting. This is genuinely Final Fantasy bias here, but I'm gonna put Behemoth upper C. I think it's a decent fight. It's just it can very easily fuck over 1 or 2 individual people. I don't like Leshen. I think the collab was very well executed. I haven't played very much Witcher. I think the first I made it in Witcher 3 was the Griffin that you fight very early in the game. So I don't have a whole lot of Witcher experience. I thought the fight was pretty well translated. It's a very fucking annoying fight though. The gear is literally only really used, I believe, for Ancient Leshen. So it might as well just not have gear. And I'm gonna put Ancient Leshen below it. I'm now realizing that it's actually a different monster. And I actually haven't fought Ancient Leshen. But everything I've heard is it's basically just Leshen, but more fucking annoying. So I'm just gonna put it below here. And that is the entirety of Base World. Wow, there was only one S tier. That's kind of sad. Oh, fuck. Well, we're like not quite halfway. We got quite a bit more to do. Let's get into Iceborne then with Beatotus. You might be thinking, oh, S tier. Beatotus is a Piscine Wyvern. They suck. I think Beatotus is an actually good fight. The Boa Boa unlock quest where you have to fight the like large crown tempered one was honestly one of the funnest quests in like early Iceborne. I don't mind the fight. It will say the snow is annoying, and that it doesn't quite capitalize on it quite as hard as Gyarados, which isn't saying very much, but I think of all the Piscine Wyverns, by far the best. I honest thinking about it, think it might be slightly the basis for Rise Gyarados, but I actually don't mind it. I really don't mind it. And it's decent gear for early Iceborne. Ambrose is an annoying shit. I love him. I love his armor, but he's an annoying shit. He's basically a passive invader. He doesn't get too pissed at you, but if he encounters you in a fight, you're taking a tree upside the head. That's all there is to it. When he's just out by himself, he's fine. But if he catches you fighting another monster, congratulations, he's just a crappy invader. His hit zones are also really fucky, if I remember right. He's got really fucky hit zones. How the mighty have fallen. I will say, I don't mind Viper Toby Kadachi. But I think they just fucking butchered normal Toby. Being able to do his gliding and stuff without trees, I think is smart. I think him having both poison and paralysis makes a very deadly combo. He's basically the mastering early status monster, and holy shit, he capitalizes on that hard. I think he's a good fight. I just think normal Toby's better, and he was the basis for Rise Toby, and I do not like Rise Toby. Rise Toby fucking blows. And it all started with this motherfucker. So, yeah. B. Coral Pookie Pookie. God damn this motherfucking bird. I will say, I do like the idea of Coral Pookie Pookie more than I like normal Pookie Pookie. I think it's a great upgrade. I just think his Tilt-A-Whirl spin beam is just such a pain in the ass to avoid, and Water Blade fucks Bo over so goddamn hard. I just cannot find myself enjoying this fight. That is actually a lie. No. Crit Claw Heavy Bow Gun. Fucking amazing to fight him. It's an absolute meme, but it's effective, and you can basically ignore all his attacks. But if you're using Bow, no. No, and I still prefer normal Pookie Pookie. I think the only difference in their gear, other than color, which isn't even that noticeable on the armor, it's very noticeable on the models, but on the armor, I don't think it's too noticeable. The only difference is, I believe, you get a little, like, mask over your mouth on Coral Pookie Pookie, which is neat, but I think the colors of Pookie Pookie's armor is just better. I just don't have a whole lot of nice to say. Also, yeah, Water Ball. Gotta love generic ass Water Ball for basically half the game's life. Yay. I'll put Nightshade Palumo. Nightshade Palumo isn't as annoying. It just trades the wind from normal Palumo for sleep. Slot in immunity to sleep, and congratulations, the monster's a punching bag. It's just straight up a fucking punching bag. And I've already said, not the biggest fan of Palumo's Master Rank gear. And Nightshade Palumo's is just a recolor of it, so nothing good to say here. The sole reason I'm putting Barioth in B is Frostbang exists. Barioth is basically the Anjanath of Iceborne. It's the first major wall most people hit, but once you get over that wall, you're set for the rest of the game. Very fun monster. I actually genuinely enjoy fighting him. I have literally nothing bad I can say other than I think Frostfang is better in literally every single way. Nagakuga, my beloved. I fucking love Nagakuga. I love the armor. I love the weapons. The only thing I do not like, and the one thing keeping him from S tier, his gunner hit zones are dog shit. If you do not have his tail tenderized, Zev, can you please stop messaging me? Thank you. I hope that didn't pop up. But yeah, the only bad thing about Noah Kuga is his gun and hit zones are shit. If his tail's not tenderized, he doesn't even have a gun and weak zone when enraged. If you break his head, I believe it's a weak spot tenderized. I think his wings are too. But if you're not breaking parts and tenderizing, his hit zones are shit. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has bleed on his tail spikes in the world. I don't think he does. I know for a fact he does in Rise. I don't think he does in World. Give him bleed on the tail spikes. Give him better hit zones for gunners. Easy S tier. Not even joking. Glavenus, you glorious motherfucker. I love Glavenus. Bit of an annoying fight with Bo, especially because you can't get probably the best kill cut in the entire game. But God, he's fun to fight. He's so fun to fight. I would honestly put him S tier if it wasn't for the fact his armor's just kind of meh. But the fight itself, so fucking good. So fucking good. I goddamn love fighting him. Bracadillos. Oh, I just saw what comes next, motherfucker. Oh, God. Okay. Bracadillos, when you first fight him, very annoying ass motherfucker. Once you figure out how he works, not that bad. Not that bad. I will put him just below Ratkin. Not a fan of his gear's aesthetic. I don't mind fighting him, especially after fighting Raging Bracadillos. Holy fuck, that's a story. I don't mind him, but his gear, once again, kind of Fights okay. Slime is a very annoying status effect. It's very annoying, but yeah, he just to me kind of exists to just kind of add to the roster. I know that's going to upset some people. He's got fans. I'm not one of them. I'm just not. Oh, I am going to piss off goddamn everyone with this here. Holy shit. I hate Tigrex. I have nothing good I can say outside of his greatsword. Very good looking greatsword. Outside of that, no. No, no. Did I say no already? I don't think I've said no quite enough. No. I fucking despise this fucking goddamn motherfucker. I do not like this fight at all. At all. I just, no. Don't like his gear. Don't like his fight. His aesthetic's okay. I do not like Tigrex. I goddamn hate Tigrex so fucking much. It's not even funny. Sorry about that weird cut. I had crap I had to do, drawers and stuff, because this is taking like, oh, what does OBS say? 53 minutes. Yeah, and I had to turn the AC on, so if you hear that in the background from now on, sorry, not much I can do about that, but where were we? Oh yeah, we are bitching about Tigrex. Fuck Tigrex. Oh, Shrieking Legiana. It's just straight up a more annoying Legiana. I still don't mind it, but I prefer normal Legiana over it. Folga Anjanath is basically just, in my opinion, better Anjanath. It's electric instead of fire. It uses its not a whole lot more. I mean, I think technically Anjanath's breath attack is partly, it's not like that's the igniter or something, or the fuel. But Folga Anjanath is just pure electric monster. Very fun fight. Very, very fun fight. Ebony Odegarin, at least to me, it's just downgrade over Odegarin. They're effectively the same. It just gains ranged attacks. Issue is the ranged attack is Dragon, which with a bow it just ain't very good. So I still really enjoy the monster. I'm actually gonna swap it. I prefer Nagakuga over it. I just prefer normal Otogaron over it in just every single regard. Acidic Glavenus. Sorry for scrolling so much there. Um. I prefer normal Glavenus over it. I'll put it just below Fulgur Anjanath. Not really much of anything bad I can say about Acidic Glavenus. I just think it's a downgrade over normal Glavenus. It's a neat variant, a subspecies. I get the two mixed up way too much, but I still just prefer normal Glavenus over it. Oh, Velkhana, thou art a bitch. Thou art a major bitch and a half. Holy shit. Velkhana is a tricky one to rate because on one hand, with evade window 2 or 3, she's not that bad. But on the other hand, she can ignore the laws of physics. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I don't like Velkhana in World, even remotely. Her breath attack without evade window, her sweeping breath attack, very, very, very difficult to avoid, especially for how hard it goddamn hits. If she aims it, you Superman dive or you evade window 3 through it. She can also completely ignore her ice walls, which majorly block gunners. She can shoot her beam through terrain. I've literally been one shot by off-tempered Velkhana through a goddamn mountain. Like, that's not even a complete exaggeration. She literally shot me through like over 100 feet of solid stone from an entirely different zone. No, the only counterplay was to literally just not be fighting her. If it wasn't for the ice beam, which is a lot better in Rise, but she's not super well balanced in Rise, in my opinion. But get rid of the ice beam, just completely ignoring the laws of physics, and she's actually like an A tier fight. But the ice beam completely ruins it. It takes what would otherwise be an amazing fight and just it's just not fair. It's just straight up not a fair fight at all. Seething Basil Goose. I definitely like you more than normal Basil Goose, at least in Sunbreak. World, he's not an invader, which is kind of part of Basil Goose's charm. But he also has like literal mini nukes that he drops. I'll put him up here. I do think I prefer him over Basil Goose, but he loses a little bit of Basil Goose's charm. Also, he completely replaces Basil Goose in Master Rank. So, oh, Savage Devil Joe. I'm a big. I already am iffy on Devil Joe. I really don't like Savage Devil Joe. It's a bit easier to deal with him. His hit zone, no, his hit zones are shit. I forgot about that. If you aren't using the Clutch Claw, his hit zones are trash. They're absolutely trash. He's pretty easy to bully once you figure him out, but if you can't bully him with a bunch of topples, he can honestly be a bit of a nightmare to fight. I just don't really like fighting him. Black Veil Valhazak. I am actually upset this completely replaced Val because I think it's a genuine downgrade. I'm not gonna put it D because it's the same issue as Val. If you run Miasma Resist or to the point that you're immune to it, he's not bad. He does, I will say, he does actually get around it. He still has a lot of damage. The big thing is just his Nova can just render entire zones unfightable. he's just not. It's not that he's hard. It's just he makes the fight more annoying and long than it has to be. I've genuinely had like half-hour slugfest with him because he just won't let me get close to him. He's just a. They just made Val super annoying. He's just not fun to fight at all. His only saving grace is if you manage to break the head, he's just a slightly more annoying Balthazar. Otherwise, he just sucks. Oh, Nemiel, Nemiel. Nemiel, Water Monster, I know that probably should put it lower, like high D, low C, but I'll be honest, I fucking love the way the gear looks. I love the idea behind its skills or its set bonus. Its only real issue is it's very easy for this fight to become annoying and tedious. I don't know where to put him. I definitely don't think C. I think we'll put him the low end of A. I want to one day try to give Octempered a go. I haven't done the Octempered version. I haven't done the Octempered version of pretty much any of these but Velkhana, but I like Nemiel's fight. It's just like I said, this can tilt into very annoying very fast. And if he starts ranging you with his water beams as a bow user, hope you have a shitload of null berries back at camp because you're going to start chewing through them very fast. Ruiner. You actually managed to save Nergigante for me. I still don't like you too much, but you are definitely tolerable. I'll put you end of B. Solely, and I mean this solely because his dive bombs are more tolerable than Nergigante. They're hard. He definitely stuns you going into them harder, but they're easier to dodge as most of them are left or right. The issue is the straight-on dive bomb that he thankfully is very rare. But even with Quick Sheath 3, it's damn near impossible to get out of. And while I normally don't mind bleed, for a monster this fucking AoE heavy, having bleed, it's a nightmare. I like the aesthetic of the gear. I like that he's technically the final boss, quote unquote. I think he's cool. I think he's definitely an upgrade over Ruiner. But holy shit, his big 180 frontal dive bomb needs a fucking nerf. The fact that even with Quick Sheath 3, like half the weapons in the game just have to face tank it is bullshit. Especially tempered when without good gear he could just straight up one-shot a gunner. I just don't think him and Normal Nargigante's dive bombs are completely fair. He's otherwise fine. Just fix that big 180 dive bomb and he's fine. Char, I think, is definitely an upgrade over Xeno'jiiva. I'm still not the biggest fan, especially because the first half of the fight is just a complete joke. Phase 1's basically just a joke. I love the Palico armor. I love the armor's aesthetic, but I just don't really have a whole lot of good stuff to say. I will put it just below. I'll put it above Behemoth. Don't have a whole lot to say about it. It just is there. It's definitely an upgrade over Xeno'jiiva, but I think most things are. Zinogre. If this was Rise, you would be A. But Artigaron's looking a little bit lonely, and I'll be completely honest. It's the first time I fought Zinogre, within 5 minutes, I understood why everyone likes him. Absolute god tier fight. I fucking love Zinogre. I love his design, love his gear, don't like the skills on it. That's the one downside. Lane power kind of fucking blows, to be honest. Otherwise, I fucking love Zinogre. Zinogre's fucking amazing. He's probably one of the only monsters that can actually compete, in my mind, with Artigaron. Just straight up. Yangaruga. This is funny, because I was under the impression this motherfucker was an annoying piece of shit. Fighting him, I'm not even joking when I say this. I think over Rathian and Pink Rathian, this is a flat upgrade. This is just straight up a flat upgrade. I still will take Rathalos over them any day, but I honestly don't mind Young Garuga. I actually kind of like the fight. Not a lot, but just enough that I don't mind him. Scarred, I honestly don't know too much difference, but I think he's a little, just a tiny bit, whatever they tweet about him, just a tiny bit better. The only issue is, I mean, Tempered Young Garuga doesn't exist. Tempered Young Garuga is Scarred Young Garuga. I think if it wasn't for that, I honestly think Young Garuga might be low A. But you know what, actually? I'll do this. I think that's fair. Brute Tigris. You're probably thinking, oh, Brute Tigris goes down there on F, right? No, 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 no. I'll put him up in D. And my reasoning is simple. I think he is a straight up fucking upgrade over Tigrex in genuinely every single way that matters. My only problem with him is if you aren't using a defensive weapon, he can be an absolute bitch and a half to fight. Less charges, but he uses the raw way more, which just zones you, which isn't too big of a deal for Gunner. But then you gain range of his really fucky beam attack, why does he have a goddamn beam attack? I still don't like him, but he's 100% an upgrade over normal Tigrex, and I will say this right now. I don't remember the name of it, but I know there's a Blast Element Tigrex out there. I want to fight that. I genuinely want to fight that. That actually seems like it could be a good Tigrex fight. Unfortunately, he's not either of these two. I don't like them. Silver Rathalos. I am conflicted. On one hand, I think the fight is better than Azure in basically every way. On the other, until you break the head, his Gunner hit zones are just dog shit. I will put him at the bottom of A solely because of his head hit zone per shot is just shit. Once you tenderize and break his head, he just fucking melts at that point. It's ridiculous how weak he becomes shot. But until then, I will say I do like the incandescent mechanic. I do like that. I definitely think he's an upgrade over Rathalos. I think he's an upgrade over Azure Rathalos. The only issue is just his shot hit zones until his head breaks just suck. Gold Rathian. This might be a funky opinion, but I think Gold Rathian is just straight up the best Wrath there is. Just straight up. Her charges are way more obvious than both other Rathians, but it's still more intriguing to dodge or interesting. Brain is just fried after fucking over an hour fucking Monster Hunter. Jesus. Yeah, it's just the best Rathian. It took everything that made her annoying, and when they amplified it, they still somehow found a way to make it more fair, if that makes sense. I honestly like Gold Rathian. Tempered Gold Rathian can absolutely fuck you up if you make any mistakes. But aside from that, I honestly like Gold Rathian. I honestly like the fight. As a Rathian, I don't mind fighting. Actually, you know what? I'll put her up here in A over Silver Rathalos just because of that. I think of all of them, I still like fighting Azure Rathalos more. You know what? No. Gold Rathian can go up here over Azure Rathalos any day of the week. Rajang cannot. Oh, Rajang, you motherfucker. Rajang basically just counts as Clutch Claw, which is really weird. They went really hard on Clutch Claw for most monsters, and then they just saw Rajang and went, no. No. The more I fought him, the less I dislike him. I still think his huge ultimate ground pound from the top rope is a little bit bullshit. But otherwise, he's a fun fight. I think he's one of the few monsters that can actually match Odegarin in terms of aggression. But he's so fucking punishing and honest that to God at times can just be unfun. I'll put him top of C solely because of the first time I found him outside of the one quest. The panda's like, oh no, you're in Rajang territory. And it's like, wait, I thought Rajang was nomadic. And I checked the book and it's like, oh yeah, it is. So yeah, nomadic monkey is territorial. What's his territory? Fucking everything. Oh, why did I forget about Stygian? You know how I said I think Odegain might be my favorite monster? I fucking lied. I lied so blatantly. Stygian is so fucking good. They took Zinogre, made it slightly faster, took the funky trajectory out of his bugs, and just draconian lightning bolts of death. I goddamn love Stygian. Some of the best looking armor in the game. Just straight fucking up. I goddamn love his armor. I like his bowguns. His heavy bowgun, especially from what I've seen. I haven't used it myself because by the time I could farm it, I had a Safijiva one. Fucking love his heavy bowgun though. It looks pretty similar to the snake cannon, which is what I use. I have everything good I can say about Zinogre. It's just better on Stygian Zinogre. It's so fucking. I really hope that he's in the next game. I was actually not upset that he wasn't in Sunbreak or Rise because I wanted his armor filleted. It's so fucking good. Safijiva. Oh. I think reward structure should be standard if you end up doing more siege quests in the future. I think the reward structure for Safijiva blows Kolviteroth out of the water. It's not even close. Like, comparatively, if we're going off reward structure, top of S. Why the fuck do I have Great Gyros? Hello? Where the fuck is Great Gyros? Hold on a second, I fucked something up. I have no idea what the fuck I did. I don't even remember where I had Great Gyros. I don't know how the hell I grabbed him and started dragging him around. Great Gyros. I guess he can stay at bottom of A. We know where he was before, but yeah, reward structure, Safijiva S tier compared to Kolviteroth. Fight wise, that's tough. I think I do prefer Safijiva's fight over Kolviteroth, but oh my god, his shot hit zones. Do you want to know what the shot weak zone on Safijiva is? When he's critical and his head is tenderized, it's his head. Or if you just break his head and tenderize it. Okay, fine, fair, no problem. Guess what? Until you do that, though, the only weak spot is his wings. Not the full wing. It's not the full wing. It's the bone. It's the wing bone, or whatever you call it, that comes out of his back. And not even the full thing, only the first, like, 2/3 of it. He's got, like, the shittiest fucking shot hit zone I have ever goddamn seen. If it wasn't for that, probably top of A, bottom of S. I goddamn love Safijiva. But holy shit, his shot hit zones are abysmal. They're so fucking bad, it's ridiculous. The only nice thing is his elemental hit zones are decent enough that even if you can't reliably hit the wings, if you just shoot him in like the thigh, you can still do respectable enough damage. But God, his hit zones were ass. You could tell by this point they were fucking bow over. Now we get the angry motherfuckers. Raging Brachydios. This might be a little bit controversial, but I'll put him top of B. I'm not going to say I look forward to fighting a Raging Brachydios, but the fight itself isn't bad. Aside from some of the slime, it's mostly fair, and that final phase is goddamn glorious. Holy shit. that might be one of the best final phases in the franchise. I think the only thing that might beat it would genuinely be like a Matsu and Primordial Malzeno. It's got one of the best final phases just ever. It's so good. Rest of the fights just. It's a very heavy hitting Brachydios that's also goddamn gigantic. It's ridiculous how big he is. Furious Regime fucking sucks. Pin is basically an insta kill, which fair, but he's otherwise like equally easier yet harder than normal Regime. He's a weird ass fight. He's such a weird fight. He's got decent gear, I will say. He's just a really weird fight in world with, like I said, he's simultaneously easier and harder than normal Regime while being more and less annoying. He's just fucking weird. He's just a weird fight. Oh, Elatrion. This is a controversial one. He's not staying up here, but I will say, mechanically, A+ fight. Very good fight. Arguably an S tier fight. If you've ever played Bo against him, though, you know where I'm going with this. Why the fuck is the most elementally required, best? I'm trying to think of how to say this. Elatrion, in theory, should be like the best elemental monster in the game. Everything's required to use element on him. So on paper, Bo should have a fucking heyday. This should be the wet dream of bow hunters. A monster weak to element. Very weak to element to the point that it's required, right? Right. Guys, what the fuck do you mean that his shot hit zones are literally the definition of shit zones? What the fuck do you mean he's so weak to element that if it wasn't for Eschaton Judgment, Raw would genuinely be better? What the fuck do you mean that they completely shafted Bo over trying to nerf Heavy Bowgun, and Heavy Bowgun is the... That's the thing, it's like, they fucked Bo over on Elatrion so that they could nerf Heavy Bowgun, and the best weapon on Elatrion, if you're solo, is a fucking Pierce 3 shield Heavy Bowgun. Take a Sappy Snipe Cannon in, eat for Safeguard. Congratulations, you're gonna beat him. You're probably gonna beat him. You absolutely shred him. If you're Bo though, go fuck yourself. You're in for a fucking battle of attrition. Absolutely dog shit hit zones. Like, all his good shot hit zones are basic, if I remember it, basically immune to element. And his best elemental hit zones are just completely trash for shot. So no matter what, you're just doing shit damage. If you ever fight him, genuinely, do not use Bo. Do not use Bo. I would not mind if they brought him back 1-to-1 in Wilds as he was in World, if they fix his hit zones. Until they fix his hit zones, though, genuinely may be one of the most miserable Bo fights in the entire game. It's abysmal. Frostfang Barioth. Oh, buddy. Oh, you know what? Yeah. The only issue Frostfang has is how late he was in the game. I think if he was a launch monster in the Guiding Lands, like Silver Rathalos, Gold Rathian, and Brute Tigrex, I think he would genuinely be like up here, like competing with Stygian, maybe. Frostfang is just normal Barioth, cranked to 11 and better in genuinely every single way. The gear, some of the best aesthetically in the game. Hands down, it looks fucking gorgeous. The fight, once you get through the icy floor that will freeze you, or the freezing floor, whatever you want to call it, very good. Very good fight. I love the fight. He aesthetically looks so much better than normal Barioth too. I goddamn love how he looks. The only issue he has is how late he was added to the game. He basically feels like he was added so everyone would just have a cheat code to get into Elatreon because his ice weapons, very good. Fully augmented, they're more than enough to get through Elatreon. The only issue he has is how late he was added. He was a pushover. He was added any earlier, he would be so fucking good. I genuinely hope he becomes a staple going forward. Not even joking. He's such a good fucking monster. And last but sure as shit not least, good old Fatty himself. Get the fuck out of there. You ain't F tier. Why the fuck you want to be F tier? I mean, your aim starts with F, but fuck off. Oh, Fatalis. This and Off-Tempered Velkhana, I genuinely think taught me proper Monster Hunter. I'm not even joking. This fight, 100% when you first start this fight, it feels completely bullshit. I'm not even joking how bullshit it feels. Once you learn the hitboxes, once you learn the tempo, once you learn how to fight him, it's an extremely punishing fight, but for the most part, fair. His tail hitbox, I've literally seen people say that the data mined hitbox on it doesn't even match the model. It's shit. It's shit. The tail hitbox is shit. And his sweeping breath attack, I'm still in camp that's bullshit. If you don't have evasion mantle, I'm not even sure it's dodgeable without a Superman dive. Aside from that though, literally two attacks that are mostly just meant to get people trying to camp his ass or way out in front of him. He's a fine fight. He's definitely not my favorite, but he's a very solid fight. But where would he go? Ooh. I'll put him up here. High A. Very grueling, very punishing fight, but once you get it down and get it on a farm, it's arguably fun, stressful, but fun. It'll wake you up if nothing else, especially if you go. Don't run this as a support if you value your sanity. You'll be chugging potions so goddamn hard you'll be thankful that there's not a goddamn weight mechanic. Holy shit. Very punishing fight, but very, very fun. And with that, yeah, that's my Monster Hunter World and Iceborne tier list for monsters. Quite a lot A, B, C. I know I pissed a lot of people probably off with D and F, but yeah, that was just a whole whopping hour and a half almost. Holy shit. If you managed to stay through so far, then feel free to comment how trash or great this tier list is, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.